prediction started. And the final prediction of the day, because we're going straight into the grand finals. These guys they're ready to do it. They're ready to have it done. Let's hop into Death Orb for map number 1. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner for Raise Your Edge Gaming. Here's our blue Protoss. Zest. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner for Kaizi Gaming. The red Zerg player. Solar. And Solar, he gets another finals appearance. He is one step closer to his 11th North American Cup victory. He does have to take out Zest, a very tough opponent. But Solar was showing some really good ZVP against Parting. Parting plays differently than a lot of Protosses do. And I would say, generally speaking, I consider Parting and Zest very different kinds of players. But I don't think Parting did anything super unorthodox in that series. It felt like, I don't know if Zest is going to do the same kinds of builds, but if Zest did a DT drop in game 1 and, like a Glaives build in game 2 and a proxy Stargate, like I wouldn't be surprised by any of what Parting did coming out of Zest either. It almost felt a little unparting-like. I feel like if Zest were to do those builds, they'd be a little bit crisper, perhaps. Oh, got a little bit of a pause here. A little bit of a pause. Hopefully not too much going on. There you go.
Game resumed.
Easy peasy, go. Oh, I know Zest has played in a good amount of these cups. I don't know, like, how often he wins versus how often he plays. But actually, taking a look now, it looks like he has 2 victories. And 2 silver medals. So he's made it to the finals 4 times. He's 2 for 2. Solar forced to take this base, but I think at this point, Zerg players aren't too upset about that. And against Zest, a lot of players don't block the natural hatchery every game. Maybe they'll do it sometimes, but Zest, I feel like, still does it every single game. And he's opened Stargate. I'm excited to see what Zest has to bring to this matchup, because I wasn't super inspired by what Parting was doing, generally speaking. Adept gonna pop by. I mean, the first Adept pressure is a classic. Tries to get 1 kill, doesn't quite get it. Shades on out. Gotta be a little bit careful. It's gonna be a Void Ray opening here for Zest, which I'm glad to see. I feel like this, at least from what I've seen, this has had the most success in this matchup. There have been some builds that have been quite good against Void Ray openers, but I still feel like it's just such a strong way to open, and there's so many different, slightly different variations that you can do that make it really tough for the Zerg player to have just one singular response to, oh, you're going Void Rays. It's not just Void Rays. So we'll see what Solar wants to do here. He's got his natural about to finish up. He's gonna be on 3 base. Spore Crawler's in his bases right now. Ooh, no Spore Crawler down to 3rd. I feel like I kind of want a Spore, right? Am I crazy? Oh, Ling's getting in. This is really nice for Solar. They're not really going to see much in here, but this is still so annoying for Parting to deal with. And I mean, not Parting, sorry, Zest. If Zest wanted to, I don't know, try to hide anything, he's got to wait till those guys are gone. And he is going to drop down a 2nd Stargate. So are we going to see more Void Rays coming out? I mean, that's kind of got to be it, as the 3rd base is on the way. Oh, there was an Oracle made. I didn't even see the Oracle being made. Doesn't have any kills. Has not a lot of hit points, so I guess it's just going to be for tagging. But yeah, we just got more Void Rays coming out. And this has been what I've been most familiar with, and again, what I feel like has been the most consistent way to play against Zerg right now. This kind of double Stargate Void Ray opening straight into a Twilight Council. The Forge as well is nice to have. But generally you get Charge, and you get at the Templar Archive Startup Storm immediately. And just try to get those up as fast as you can for the kind of inevitable big Hydra push that Solar's going to want to do. Now, of course, that was the meta. Things have started to shift and change. Zerg players are getting a little bit better if they chill and macro instead of go for a big Hydra push. This becomes not quite as strong. It's not just inherently bad, but it's not quite as strong. Ideally, what you want here is the Zergs to go for a big Hydra attack. Big Hydra, like, not quite all in. Like, you want to bait them in with a bunch of Void Rays and then nail them with the Storms and the Charge lots. Oh, oh man, nice block there. Zest. Oh, really stellar defense so far. The Void Rays are spotted, the number of Void Rays. We got 5 and 6 on the way. There's Charge and +1. Oh, this is an interesting response that I actually haven't seen yet against this specific kind of build. Swarm Hosts. I don't hate this, but at the same time, one thing I've seen, which we're not seeing here, and it's a little bit worrisome for me for Zest, is you got 6 Void Rays, and there it is. You split them off. They all go patrol different areas. Any Lings that are out on the map, they kill. Any Niduses that attempt to come up, they can spot immediately. And look at this. Zest is going to find that he's going to turn that Prismatic Alignment on. It's going to do bonus damage to the Nidus Swarm. And if the Void Ray's there, right as that Nidus comes up, it will never get up. It just never will. And this has already been a stellar defense. Oh, look at that. The second Solar tries to put it down over here, Zest is there with the Void Ray. And this is what I love to see. This is why we don't see this response. Is exactly what Zest is doing here. That Nidus pops up, but yeah. Solar decides to just walk across the map. This is the fuck it walk. That's what this is right here. This is, oh, damn, Nidus is not going to work? Fine. I'll just walk, damn it. Solar, he's moving across. He is going to drop the Nidus here for the reinforcement point. It's, man, that is so, like, trippy. And I kind of love it and I kind of hate it. This has been spotted. Now Charge is done. Charge lots are here. They're not going to be all that useful against Swarm Hosts and Locusts. But, hey, better than nothing. Void Ray's going to try to fight the Locusts before they even land. There's a lot of Void Rays here doing a lot of damage to the Locust. Super Shield Battery turns on, and that cannon is going to take all the DPS and stays alive at 2 hit points. Zest sending a big Zealot counterattack. And there's Roaches and Ravagers here. A lot of Queens with a lot of Transfuse energy. But his 2 carriers are on the way out. Zest is going to try to hold Solar. He's building Spore Crawlers, but the Zealots are in his base, wreaking absolute havoc. This 3rd base is... it's pretty much gone, and Solar's just going to tap out with that. GG. He lets Zest have it. He doesn't even try to push up the ramp. And, you know, it would have been a tough push. I would have loved to see him try for that push. But, yeah, Zest handled that spectacularly. That was I mean, I don't know what else to say. He handled it perfectly. When I'm watching as an observer, there's a lot of times where I see, oh, if he was doing this, he could stop it. And the player obviously doesn't get to see everything to know that. It felt like Zest knew exactly what was going on. He was ready for the Niduses. When the Niduses didn't work and he saw the Queens marching across the map, he knew exactly what he had to do, and I was just perfectly handled. Really well done. Game number 2 is going to be on Pillars of Gold. And, you know, we saw Solar do pretty well in this matchup against Parting, but Zest, if Zest continues to play that crisply and that just I guess like predictive or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's strategically sound. I don't know how Solar is gonna find a hole in his play. I guess we'll see if Solar has some more tricks hidden up his sleeve as we hop into game number 2 here. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Uh-oh. That me? No, seem okay so far. That was weird. A lot of lag going on. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold for Razor Edge Gaming. He is Zest. His opponent in the upper right for Kaizi Gaming. Solar. Zest once again blocking the hatchery. This is like, at this point, Solar probably just decides to send his drone straight across to the third. Why even bother? Zest is always going to be there. He's been doing that all through 2020, since Katowice. Probe going to be annoying up here. I'm interested if Zest has, I mean, I'm sure he can pull other builds out, but the power of that kind of build that he was going for is that it's really versatile and adaptable to what your opponent is doing. There's a few different ways to play. It's really just a solid way to play. You know, it's not like a cheeky Glaive Adept opening where you're really hoping to get a lot of damage done. No, it's pretty much a solid macro build. Well, just like everything else, it has its weaknesses, but I'm interested if Zest is just going to keep trying to play that style, or if he does want to mix in some Glaive Adepts or DTs or Archon drops, anything like that. Right now, I mean, there's nothing crazy going on. And on the flip side of things, is Solar going to try to go for big earlier attacks? I don't know. Proxy hatches, proxy ravagers. I love me some proxy ravagers. Now we got another Stargate from Zest to start off with. You know, like I said, I've seen a lot of results where Solar's kind of struggling in this matchup, and well, maybe he's still working on a way to beat that style, to beat the Void Ray into ground, back into carriers. We already saw the carriers on the way for Zest. He was about to have 2 pop when that game ended. And that's kind of the power of the 2 Stargate Void Ray opening, is you get into those carriers much quicker than in a lot of other builds. And that transition can be one of the hardest times as a Protoss to hold a push when you're just getting those first couple carriers out. You spend a lot of money on infrastructure and on starting those carriers, and if they're not there for the fight, it's like, ooh, that's just a ton of money that's not present on the map yet. It doesn't really pay for itself until you get 4, 6 carriers out. And then those extra Stargates, the Fleet Beacon really starts to pay. So far, it's actually just double Oracle out of Zest this game. No further tech choices just yet. Solar on the other side, I mean, he's getting up Spore Crawler. Drops one at the third as well. Trying to spread that creep between the bases. That's really important, and actually probably the reason why we see Protoss players like to delay this base. Look at how far the creep spread is between these 2 bases, and that's with creep tumors that have been trying to be spread so far. There's still so much dead space between the bases, and Queens, I mean, y'all know how slow Queens be walking. They be walking real slow. They be walking like a kid that's just complaining at the theme park about being too hot. Just wants to go back to the hotel and play video games or something. And you're like, what is wrong with you? Zest gets a few drone kills up in the main base. These Lings trying to sneak by. Not gonna find it though. Getting shoved away. They'll see the third base. Oracle's popping back over. Got the Roach Warren here for Solar. Oracle's getting a little bit stuck, but they're gonna find a couple drones. Maybe they're not stuck.
I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me.
Says the Oracles. Get 5 more drone kills. It's pretty nice. Any damage you can get. Lair has now started up here for Soul. No, he cancels it. Oh, all right. Solar's all in now. You don't cancel a Lair without plans to just be all in. I imagine the queens are going to be walking across the map then. He's got a bunch of them. He's going to want to use them. There's kind of a sad amount of creep spread for that, though. Like, usually you want that, like, here, but Phoenix is the name of the game for Zest. I haven't really been talking about it. We don't see it that often. The Phoenix are going to be able to spot that these queens are walking across, and oh, man, he's going to get supply blocked. Oh, that is brutal. Oh my god, but that's brutal as well. We've got a whole bunch of Lings making their way into the base. Not getting a lot of damage done so far. It's lost mining time, but what it is distracting from this big attack that's coming over here. Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, and eventually
Queens. The march of the queens.
the last march of the Ent Queens. They're going, dude. They're making their way downtown. Solar's got a lot of stuff here. The Phoenixes are trying to lift these guys up, but look at the transfuses keeping these Ravagers alive. A couple of Void Rays pop out. Those are going to help immensely in this fight. And yeah, you know what? I think Zest holds. I think there's not quite enough here for Solar, and that, I mean, that's going to be GG. The third base stayed alive. We can try to pretend it's not GG, but Solar back at home doesn't have a lair. He has no follow-up tech. If Solar can kill this third, it's not GG. If Zest can keep this third alive, yeah, Solar's realized that. Look at, he's going straight for it, man. Honestly, even if he kills it, it's going to be tough. He is going to finish it off. But now Zest says, oh, I've got a bunch of army. And what do you got? You just lost all your queens. You don't really have much to speak of. He hasn't spotted that the lair isn't finished. I think if Zest knew that the lair was canceled, Zest would be on the other side of the map right now. But right now, he's just trying to get some damage done with these Phoenixes. Lifting up drones, lifting up queens, roaches, ravagers, whatever he can find. Killing Ovies. He's got plenty to defend this new base. So much, man. So much to defend this base. God, this is so annoying to deal with. Am I watching a Roddy game right now? This is a Roddy ladder game. Oh my god. And Zest, he spotted that this hatchery is not a lair, it's a hatch. He's gonna kill yet another Overlord. Now Solar's been a laser overlording all day, but oh, one Phoenix goes down. Look at that. Nice catch. Zest, I think, is just in such a good position here. I don't know what you do with Solar. I mean, Solar, like I said, he was all in. He was all in and it didn't work. And now the Phoenixes are wreaking havoc. Once there's 9 Phoenixes out, like, a few queens is just not enough to stop it. Like, a couple queens, a couple spores, it ain't enough, man. And this attack, this is fated to fail, I think. Yep, queen caught all alone. Any units not right next to the queens are just gonna go down. He's got enough Phoenixes to lift every single queen. That's not really the way he wants to do it, but you know, theoretically he can do that. Shield batteries, cannons coming up back at home for Zest. He's ready to defend. He's got force fields for days. He's got void rays. The army supply is even, which is not where you want to be as Solar. Solar right now wishes he was up 30, 40 army supply, but it's just not the case. And 2 force fields going down. They get broken by the biles. These biles are actually really good on top of some of this army, but super shield battery turns on, and with 4 cannons, the lings are just fodder. They die in seconds. The biles land on the voids, but we all know it's over. GG gets called, and Zest is going to take game number 2. Goes up 2-0, and he's on match point already. Solar really struggling in this match. Trying to... I feel like what we're probably seeing is Solar trying everything he can think of, and he's just throwing it at him, knowing Zest is going to do this kind of double Stargate opening, and it's not sticking. Honestly, I don't know why he canceled the lair. I don't know why he canceled the lair. If behind that Solar had like I don't know, man, anything else behind that besides 45 drones and no lair tech, I would have believed in some sort of transition, some sort of macro behind it. He killed the 3rd base, but it wasn't there. He just tried to do the same push again, and shocker, Zest held with a whole bunch more stuff. Spawning in the lower right hand corner of Romanticide on match point is Raise Your Edge Gaming's Zest. His opponent in the upper left trying to make something work, make something stick in this match. It's Kaizi Gaming's Solar. You know, we haven't seen a 12 pool yet. Maybe a 12 pool would have been the answer. I'd love to see it. I actually think against Zest more than most players that has a chance of working. Zest historically has not been great at holding the door. And oftentimes, you ever see those like those Bethesda doors where it's the picture from like Fallout, one of the Fallout games, where the door is locked and you have to have like master lock picking skill, but it's literally just half a door and it's just broken and busted and the window's broken. And it's like master lock picking skill. Yet I feel like Zest's walls kind of look like that a lot. But you don't need master lock picking skill. It's just a broken door and a broken wall. And it's kind of hard to hold the door when that's what the wall looks like. But we're seeing Solar just go for the macro play, hatch gas pool. Forced to take his 3rd base. On this map, I think it's less impactful than pretty much the rest of the map pool. 3 bases on this map is pretty easy to hold because of the ramps going up to that 3 base location. That's true of all races, which does make it actually, generally speaking, worse for Zerg this map. Or I guess I should say worse for the player that wants to take a 4th base. Solar, not always known for taking 4th bases. Tends to like to be a little bit aggressive. And he pulls completely off of gas, not even leaving one on gas. Stargate going down for Zest once again. I mean, you know, there was a time where every single PVZ that wasn't a cheese was a Stargate opening. We moved away from that for a while. You know, Glaive to Depth builds became really popular. Obviously, Archon drops were a big thing for a long time. DTs, etc. But we've kind of gone back to where I feel like Stargate openers are just the strongest again. They're just... because of the change of the Void Rays, there were some things that Stargate openers used to not be able to deal with very well that I think not necessarily true these days. You get a couple Void Rays out and suddenly those old builds that might have caused so much trouble before, they're not quite as troublesome anymore. Solar about to finish up Ling Speed. He's got his 3rd base on the way. We do still have that big creep issue, though, between the bases, but It's a little bit less so. Once this base pops and has creep spread, it only really takes, I think, one tumor to get between these bases. Natural to main can still be a struggle, but Solar's working on that. See if this Oracle can get something done. The Oracle's actually going to reveal itself. I think it did to kill this Overlord. So that's going to take a quick third base here. I'm surprised that base got to go down with the Ling, like, right on the edge of it. The double Oracle. Handful more Lings on the way. Feels like Solar might want to send some Lings across the map to harass his third base a little bit. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, where's that Twilight Council? I see it on the production tab. Zest going straight into a Twilight Council off the back of the double Oracle. I am wondering what that's going to be. Is that going to be... It's a Forge. Okay, so I'm guessing then just charge and +1. I was wondering if he was going to do something like an Archon drop as a follow-up to the double Oracle. That is a thing that we see from time to time. Or even a Glaives build, but no, it's Blink. Oh. Oh. That's really interesting. That's Blink and +1 here for Zest. Okay, so I'm guessing that means, you know, just more gateways. Okay, is this like a big 3-gate, like, I don't want to say Blink all in, but big Blink attack? That's not something we see very often, but it is possible. Right now, Solar trying to get some damage done with these Lings. He's going to kill some stuff. Will he get the Cybercore? I feel like Zest should be able to save that Cybercore, yeah. Brings the rest of the units over, saves it. A lot of gateways coming up, a ton of gateways. You know, this is a build, actually, funnily enough, that I think I saw Geralt do a while ago. Probably not the exact same build, but like a big +1 Blink attack against Zerg. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then he just crushed the Zerg player, and I was like, well, that was weird. So I don't know, are we gonna see the same kind of thing? Zest has the ability to make just a metric fuck ton of Blink Stalkers pretty soon here. He's got 3 more gates finishing up. 7 gateways, that's 10 gates. There we go. Good maths, quick maths. 10 gates, there's the Prism. He's got a lot of sentries too. That's a ton of force field energy. That's a lot of micro potential. 1 hit point on that Oracle, it gets out of there. A lot of micro potential with force fields and with Blink Stalkers, with the Prism as well. You know, obviously, sentries not really known for their ability to blink. They've got a lot of good abilities, but blinking, not one of them. I don't think they have eyes, so, you know, there's that. But Prism Micro with the sentries might be really important. We got that move out. There's the Prism. He's going to be able to warp in a big all round of Stalkers. There's a lot of stuff here for Solar, but I don't know, man. I'm really liking what Zest has got going here. He's going to tag the army. Let's see how this attack goes. A little bit of a counterattack, it looks like, with some Lings, but I don't think it's going to be impactful. Nope, they're dead. And this 4th base is the location of the assault. Now, Zest being very patient, though. Not committing super hard into this. See what he's got going behind this. I was wondering why he's dropping a second Cybercore, because this one's at 5 hit points. Just making sure he keeps it going. He's got a Templar Archives behind this. I think it's going to be quite nice against the Lings that Solar has out. But, you know, Storm is always good against Zerg. Just literally always. And the double Oracle pops in. He says, you don't have a Spore here, do you? Solar's like, can you just get out of here, dude? Get out of here. Oracles get 5 more kills. Tag the army, and Zest just posturing a little bit, but he pulls back, taking a 4th base. Charge about to finish, +1 armor about to finish. Solar on the other side of things is already going to Hive. Ooh, we got the Bane Nest on the way as well. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm interested in what Solar's got going on here. Yeah, force fields all over the place. Force fields for days once again. You know, Biles can, of course, break through that, but buy Zest a little bit of time. I'd love to see a few shield batteries here to help defend. Well, Stasis Trap catches one drone, just the one. Zest's gonna try to do an Archon drop, looks like. You know, that classic 9-minute Archon drop. Wow, that Immortal almost just shot that Zealot and was like, oh my god, you scared me. I almost shot you. The Changeling goes, the Immortal's like, oh, wait a minute. I should have shot you. How did this roach get in? Hey, whose job is it to close the door? You guys, this is how you get a roach infestation, guys. It's just one roach now, but yeah, you gotta take care of that. Make sure there's no eggs around, guys. Okay. Zest moving out. This is a powerful looking army. Does he have Storm? Looks like the answer to that is actually no. So yeah, I was gonna say maybe an Archon there is the good plan. Oh, those Banelings crashing in. Oh, look at that. Ooh, some big Baneling hits there. Is it gonna be enough? As the Archons and Blinkstalkers press through, those Biles are pretty massive. Zealot Run-By gets cleaned up by the Roaches so they can come back and help the main fight. Stalkers are actually pretty damn good against Ravagers unless they just eat a ton of Biles. Blings pop out and immediately die to the Archons. But this army of Zest is looking much smaller. There's no more force fields. Zealots running in as well, trying to charge forward. Nice pickup to dodge those Biles. But looks like Solar's going to hold. He's got enough Roaches and Ravagers here. Prism gets taken down, so no more micro with that. It's just the Blink Stalkers for Zest. And the Immortals. This is pretty scrappy. Oh man, those Biles hitting so hard. I think if Zest had dodged all the Biles, he'd have so much more army supply still, but as it is, Solar's actually up army supply, keeps the base alive, keeps most of his workers alive. And while Zest is on 4 bases, only 67 probes. Recalls to get these Immortals out of there. +2 attack about to finish up. The real problem here for Zest is he doesn't have any follow-up. There's really just, I mean, he's putting down more gateways. That's where Zest is at right now. He is pure gateway focused. And I mean, I feel like Solar's army is actually kind of just the better army here. Like this army, Roach Ravager, Lingbane, is good against gateway-based armies. It just is. Maybe it's not quite lurkers, but it just is good against what Zest has. Now, a lot of it can still come down to the engagement. If the Banelings smash into the Archons and the Zealots get right on top of the Roach Ravagers, and maybe not so much, but oh my god, the Banelings are smashing onto probes and static defense. Oh my god, those probes are trying to run away. Alright, they get out of there. This Cybercore somehow stays alive again. Only 5 probes falling. A little less mining time though, and some of that static defense does go down. God, the Archon drop's still going on. Zest doing some good work with this Archon drop. I'd almost love to see him just drop on top of these Banes. Even if the Archons died, that would be so cost inefficient for Solar. A few Blink Stalkers on the top side here. Oh, poor Immortal. I don't know what that Immortal thought he was doing. Look at these Stalkers like, I know how we'll get out of here. Oh. At the same time, Baneling's running in. Oh, and Zest does not pull the probes this time. Roach is here as well, so it's something that Zest really needs to deal with. He's trying to get on top of this army. Zealots coming in from all directions here. Banelings and Biles smashing all over the place, but I think there's enough here for Zest to just clean this up. The Banelings explode on top of the Archons, just like I said they shouldn't. And all these Ravagers are getting taken out. Zest's third base is pretty messed up. He's lost a ton of probes. He's down at 34 workers. And Solar leaves a few Roaches just to finish off this third base. But Solar, he needs to get a lot more units out very quickly. He needs more Banes because there's a ton of Zealots with this, and the Lings are just not going to be enough. Oh, but Queen's Transfuse buying a lot of time. Some Banelings connecting. If Solar can hold here, he'll be in a fantastic spot, and I think he's going to be able to with the Queens all out front, pushing away this Prism, not allowing Zest to just stick around. The Prism gets out of there, and Zest is just going to tap out. He loses the third base. He lost too many probes. He's down to 3 army supply, and Solar holds and actually takes a game there off of Zest. Felt like I was a little worried that wasn't going to happen. But Solar turning it around here. Now, I will say that was a bit of a weird, not weird style from Zest, but it's not a style I'm a huge fan of. And I think it's going to be something Solar is actually much stronger against. Solar really likes to play like, what's the word I'm looking for? Lair tech based army composition. So like he's super comfortable playing Ling Bane Roach Ravager, and if Zest doesn't want to transition out, Solar's like, all right, cool. We'll just stick with it. Jagannath is going to be map number 4. As soon as Solar joins the lobby. It is important to have both players in the lobby before you play the game. A nice Zest bank. Yeah, well that style is perfect for a Zest bank. I know people joke about it, but when you have like 15, 16 gateways, think about how much money you can spend at once. It's like Zerg levels when you're doing that pure gateway style. Like, oh, I've got 1,500 gas, gone. I've got 3,000 minerals, gone. Easy peasy, dude. That is one warp in round of whatever units you decide to warp in. So I think that works best for Zest, but I'm not a huge fan of that style right now. Like the fact that Solar didn't even go lurkers and still won just proves to me that style is not the way. Let's get into game number 4 here. Still on match point. Is our player in the upper right hand corner for Raise Your Edge Gaming. He is Zest. And his opponent in the lower left trying to make a comeback. But he's still got to win 2 in a row. It is Kaizi Gaming's Solar. Zest, of course, here to block the hatchery. Solar, literally, I think he just sent the drone straight across to the third. He just clicks there. He's like, yep, I know Zest is going to block my natural. Not worried about it. It's kind of funny at this point. It's its own meta playing against Zest. So I wonder if Zest is going to do like a Glaive of Depths build this game. I feel like this game is a decent time to pull it out if he's going to. If he's going to do a Glaive of Depths build, now might be the time. If not, I say go back into Stargate. Go back into those Void Rays. That game 1 style. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm a fan of it, but Solar's been struggling against it a bit. Struggled against those Phoenixes as well. It's a slightly different variation, but it's a very similar premise, right? The difference is the Phoenixes give you a lot more scouting info, and they are so annoying. The Void Rays can be really annoying too, but man, the Phoenix flying around is just one of the most annoying things to deal with. Zest gonna steal some minerals. Again, probes. Just so annoying. Like, what? Speaking of annoying, the only thing more annoying than a bunch of Phoenix flying around is that first probe, man. Ooh. Zest is proxying a Stargate. Now, I'm going to assume this is for oracles. I did just watch a replay of proxy carriers, though, and, like, I know it's not that. I know it's not that, but my heart still hopes for it. I'm yearning for Zest to build a fleet beacon and proxy carriers. That was, I mean, you know, it's not going to happen, but a man can dream, okay? Let me dream until we see the oracles start coming out, and then you can tell me, no, that was silly. That's fine. Couple of adepts out. Zest not sending him across the map. Maybe a little worried about a Ling getting in. But he kills the Ling, so maybe he does want to go across now. Alright, it's Oracle. Fine. There's no fleet beacon. Fine. There is a Twilight Council, though, which makes me feel like maybe it's going to be Glaives. Spore Crawler on the way, but it's late for Solar, because that's the whole point of the proxy. Is the Spore Crawler is not going to be in time to deal with this Oracle. I gotta say, not the best control here from Zest, but it doesn't matter a ton. He still gets 7 kills, gets out of there, keeps the Oracle alive. Solar is going to find this. Should be able to take that pylon out before anything else gets out of here. Hey, there's those 2 adepts I was talking about. They're making their way across the map. Spot this Roach Warren going down and start getting some of these dronies. Oracle looking for some kills as well. Maybe he noticed there wasn't a Spore Crawler here. Could try to dive in, get 2 or 3 drones. Some nice harass already this game for Zest. Gets a couple more. That's 9 drones. Zest has still not lost a single thing. And hey, look at that. It is a Glaives build. Warps in 6 adepts at once. Look at that. You know, there's something just very aesthetically pleasing about gateways in this formation. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a nice square. Nice square of squares. It's pleasing aesthetically. You know what else is pleasing aesthetically? Is a bunch of Glaive Adepts walking across the map, shading across the map. They're throwing shade all over the place. And Solar, he says, please, no tea, no shade. No tea, no shade. And Zest goes, all tea, all shade. Gets right up into the main base. Starting to slam into some of these drones. Actually hasn't really killed many drones, but it's taken out all the Lings so far. More Lings popping out here. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that shade, but he didn't really have much of an option. Staying in there wasn't great either. More depths going in over here. There's a bunch of stasis trapped drones, it looks like. Just as they came out of that stasis trap, 4 adepts pop in. 4 drones go down. I gotta tell you, that was 13 adepts for 4 drones and some lost mining time. The Oracle's gonna bring that up to 6. Stays alive still. And recall back home. But yeah, I don't think that was really worth it. I feel like this resources lost was very Zest favored before that, and now all of a sudden Solar's feeling maybe a little okay. That being said, he's only on 39 drones, and the Roaches are trying to push the Queens across the map. Oh my god, terrible shade there for Zest. He's just taking a bunch of damage on these Adepts, but look at how many Adepts he has. And he's in the speed zone, so he's just going to be able to micro a little bit better. Decides not to go for the counterattack. He just recalled, so he cannot recall. But he can find these Queens, man, and he is going to find them. Both of them going to go down. There are a few Stalkers back here, a few Force Fields available. The Adepts decide not to shade on top of that. I actually think the Adepts could win that fight. A couple War Pins here as well. I think the Adepts take it. The Adepts right now are just posturing, trying to keep these Lings from being a part of the fight as well. They're going to shade on top now. They target down the Ravagers. Oh, but the wall is down. I think there's just too much here for Zest. And if Zest holds, Solar is on the worst economy. He's on the worst tech. The Oracle is here. GG gets called. And Zest is going to take the 3-1 victory over Solar here in the finals. Once again, Solar going for the big all-in, and it just doesn't quite work. Zest doing some good Demour impressions in his best of 5.